What's up, everybody? It's Kyle here, the Pentographer, and today I was going to talk to you about which fountain pen do I want to talk about today? Which one do you want to talk about? I think I have an idea. I wanted to talk about the Lamy Safari All-Star sort of pairing. I'm going to group them together because they are different pens, but they are almost exactly the same. The only difference is that the Lamy Safari is molded plastic and the Lamy All-Star is an aluminum body. So those are really the only two differences. There's a couple of others in there too, like I forget the names of them all. Oh, there's another one that's pretty similar as well. Same thing. They're same. They're the same, but they're different. They're like more premium versions. I personally don't own any Safaris. I own All-Stars because I just liked the colors actually better. I would get a Safari if somebody decided to send me a Safari. That would be great. But I don't see myself buying one anytime soon, especially with all this trade crap going on. At least, yeah, not for now, anyways. But I want to talk about those pens today because besides the what do you call it? The Twisbees, they were my second pens. So second to the Twisbees, they were the second set of pens I bought, and almost immediately after I got the Twisbees. I tried out the Twisbees, I loved them, and then from there I was hooked. So yeah, so I don't want to talk about those today because they are actually some of the best starter pens that you can get. I would argue, because they're, number one, they're fairly inexpensive. They're not break the bank level things. Number two, they're cartridge converter. So you can either use cartridges in them or you can use a converter in them. Now, you have to buy the converter separately, but a little trick for that I found is that, yes, you can get them from the pen website. You can get them as one, and they're like on Goulet pens, I think they were $7 or something like that, $6 or $7 for a converter. I found them on Amazon for like $10 for 5 of them. So you can get Lamy converters, like actual branded Lamy converters, much cheaper than buying them individually. I would say get 5 of them and buy them bulk, or more bulk anyways. Get them on Amazon or get them on like AliExpress or something like that if you're fine with shopping on those sites. You can get them much cheaper than getting them through the quote-unquote official channels. So that was a little trick I found when I started sort of upping my collection of Lamys. I kind of realized, like, oh, I should have converters for all of these, and I really don't want to be paying $7 each. I feel like I can get them cheaper. Like I started to think, like, you can find most things cheaper, so find them cheaper. So I did. But that's a little trick for the converters. So that's what I've done. They're relatively inexpensive, cartridge converter. They're easy to put together, and they have swappable nibs. They're a click-on cap, so they're not, you don't have to unscrew them or anything. They're just like pop on, pop off kind of thing. So that's nice, nice and quick. The nibs are swappable. That's one of my favorite features, actually. So you can buy one pen and buy 3 extra nibs and get the full range of nibs. And because I did that. I don't know that I have a broad, but I definitely have mediums, fines, and extra fines. I'm pretty sure I did buy a broad. And I also got there's like a calligraphy nib. It's for like Japanese cursive and stuff like that. I got that as well. I haven't used it much. Like, I've used it once, but I haven't used it very much. But whatever, I can throw it in there and try to, mess around with it or something like that. But besides that, yeah, like, you can buy one pen and then get a bunch of nibs for it, and you can just swap them out when you want to try a different size nib. That's great. Like, that's an awesome feature. And then they're also compatible with their gold nibs. They have gold nibs that you can get that fit on them as well. So you can take like a $30, $40 pen and turn it into a $130, $140 pen. You know what I mean? By just throwing that gold nib on there. So that's kind of cool too. If you really like a pen and you want a gold nib on it, away you go. That's probably one of the best ways of doing it if you're starting out and want a gold nib pen. I haven't done that yet, but I should. But yeah, so they're how would I compare them to the TWSBIs? I'm going to compare them to the TWSBIs and maybe to the Majon, because again, those are sort of my go-tos for all of my writing stuff. For my, like, because again, the TWSBI was my first pen, and still to this day, it's one of my favorite writing experiences. So what I would say is that the extra fine is definitely scratchy compared to anything else that I've used so far. It's definitely scratchy. It works. It's not like that's not a flaw. That is a feature of that type of just that fine of a pen, or that fine of a nib. So because they're German nibs, so that's different from the nibs on some of the others, because some of the others are using Japanese nibs. Japanese extra fines are finer than, like, a Japanese fine is more like a Lamy extra fine. No, fine. Japanese extra fine is a German fine, I think. Yes, that's it. Because they're not comparable. So a German extra fine and a Japanese extra fine, not the same thing. They don't line up. So the Japanese stuff tends to be finer than the German stuff. But the German stuff is still fine. It's still good. It's still very very high quality. So no complaints. But their extra fine is a little scratchier than I would prefer. So I don't really like using the extra fines. Like, they're good for writing. Like, they're still good for writing. But if you got like a less than ideal paper, that's really when it comes into play. If you're using normal paper, which it shouldn't be anyways, but if you're using normal paper, like normal like printer paper or something like that, or lined paper, you're gonna tear that paper up. It's gonna wreck it. So what you really need to do is you really need to have high quality paper, or a good notebook for using a Lamy extra fine. At least in this type of nib. The fine, perfect, love it. I absolutely love the Lamy fine nib that comes on these pens. They're perfect, no complaints there. They write nicely. They're a little thicker than the extra fine, but they're not scratchy. I don't find them as scratchy really at all. The medium writes nicely, and I don't remember if I have a broad. I don't remember. If I do, I haven't used it much, so that's the problem there. I haven't gone that far. I haven't fully explored all of my nib selections yet. But they're great writers. They will dry out, so they're not pens that you're gonna want to leave for like a month at a time. They don't seal that well, because as I said before, they're a snap cap, so they don't seal the best. They do seal, like you can leave them for a few days, maybe even a week, and like you might get a little skipping and they'll just start writing again. But you don't want to be leaving them for a month full of ink, because they will just dry out on you. So that's not good. You don't want to be doing that. So that's the one downside. But like as an everyday writer, they're great, and that's why, because like they're gonna dry out. But if you're using it every day, then who cares, right? You can use it anyways. So that's one big positive for them, is that they're a great everyday carry. The Safaris are cheap enough, cheaper than the All Stars, that makes them a great everyday carry, just as themselves. Because who cares if they get a little beat up, right? Because they're plastic, right? So they will get a bit beat up. So it's not that big a deal. The All Star is a little less so, because they've got that nice aluminum finish to it. And if you don't want them to get banged up, then I wouldn't carry that one as an everyday. If you're careful with your stuff, or you have them on a notebook and you don't throw the notebook in your bag fully with your keys and all that stuff, then maybe that could work for you. But the All Star is less, just because of the nice finish off on it, right? You don't want to necessarily mess that up. If you don't care, you don't care. Who cares? If you don't mind your pens getting a little beat up, whatever, no big deal. But the Safari is definitely better in that regard, because it's not gonna, you're not ruining a really nice pen if it gets dinged up a bit in your bag, right? So that's kind of the upside to the Safari. But that's kind of why I'm grouping them, because like I use one as an everyday carry. Maybe not everyday carry, because again, I'm in landscaping now. If I change jobs and I get into a different job, then maybe I'll change that. I'll start carrying again every day. But like I don't even carry these guys, and these two are my everyday carry. There's the Majon A1, and there's the Asvine V200. Those are the two pens that I like to have every day. So, you know, and I don't use them. I don't carry them. And I hate that because I want to be carrying them, but I don't because, well, I work in landscaping. I'm actually going to ruin them if I do. So, and I've tried. Like, I'm going to ruin it. The dirt gets everywhere. It gets in every pocket. It gets in, even if you have one of those leather cases, it gets in the leather case. Like, it's terrible. Landscaping really isn't the job you want if you want to be having pens carrying them. You know, if you want to be able to work on your penmanship. The haul truck was much better for that. So, but typically I have available to me a Lamy for any time that I want because I have one in my notebook, that little leather-bound notebook, the Traveler's Journal. I've got my Lamy, I've got my blue Lamy in that one right now. So that's kind of my like go-to journal pen, just because it fits in the little it fits in my pen loop for that journal, and it's just a good little pen to have, like, you know. No harm, no foul. And then I can always throw these here because I typically have pens here if I have the right shirts on, and then you're good to go. Like, you know, I've got 3 options right there. I've got 2 hung here, and then I've got 1 on my notebook. So there you go. So if I don't want to use the Lamy, then I can use the Asvine, or I can use the Majon. So yeah, so the Safari and the All-Star, they're great. Great starter pens. Perfect starter pens, actually. I would always recommend, even though I bought the All-Stars first, if you want to go in at the low budget end, definitely go Safari. Again, there's a couple of bonuses to the Safari that the All-Star does not have, i.e. If you know, you're not as worried about getting them dinged up, they're a little cheaper, and even with the converter adding that in, they're still cheap to get started. I would always recommend get a converter for them because the cartridges, they're just a pain. They're just annoying. Ooh, Jesus. Someone's tire blew up. Yeah, somebody's tire blew up on the road, apparently. Yeah, sorry, traffic is silly right now. The cartridges are a pain because they're not really refillable. Like, you can refill them, but do you really want to when you can get a converter? Like, yeah, it drops your ink capacity a little bit, but it's not enough to be like, oh no, this is unusable now. Like, whatever, it doesn't take that much to refill a converter. Like, it's not that big a deal. And I'm almost certain that there would be a way to fill converters and maybe even cap them or something like that. I'd have to look into that because, like, I'm used to that with the Majon. The Majon's got little cartridges, reusable cartridges you can get for it. It comes with 2, and then you can get more that have little rubber stoppers on them. And so you can just fill a bunch of cartridges and have them ready to go when you need to swap them out. You just need to make sure you know what color they are, so that you're not mixing and matching your colors, unless you don't care. But yeah, I would always recommend get a converter with a Lamy. It just makes it nicer. It's just nicer to work with. Makes them easier. I would recommend a fine to anybody who's just getting started, or who likes a nice fine line. Get a fine. Don't get the extra fine. They write nicer, and the extra fine it has its place. Don't get me wrong, but as a general, like, if you're just starting or you're not super familiar with fountain pens, get a fine. If you're trying to improve your handwriting or you want to go with something a little different, get a medium. Mediums are good too. So, or if you really just want to write big, just get a broad, you know. Or if you're doing something specialty. So yeah, so those pens are absolutely fantastic. I wish I had one with me. I just don't right now, but I would highly recommend them to anyone who's getting started. Adding a Lamy to your collection is not a bad idea because they're great pens, and you know, they're kind of a staple of the industry. So that would be what I would say: is pick yourself up a Lamy, get a fine Lamy Safari in whatever color you like, and you're set, man. You're good to go, because that's a good starter pen. It's a good way to go. So that's my suggestion, and I think that's about it. That's about all I got for now. So I will talk to you in the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all those things. And I will talk to you guys later. And as I say all the time, may your pen always be inked.